What is up? What is up, YouTube? Oh man, I got the sound up and everything. 20 minutes, man. Letting my team know I'm going hard. I'm going hard in the paint. Is that how they say it? I'm going hard in the paint, in the paint basketball. Well, anyway. Hey, Denzel Washington exposes Oprah now. Y'all know Uncle Mike is on everything that got Oprah name on it. I'm trying to figure out, Diddy was close to Oprah, even though he wasn't on the show a lot. But she partied, I want to say. They networked and rubbed elbows. How can you be that deep and have all into each other's business and don't know each other's business? Come on, man. I know half my co-workers' business, and I don't even like them like that. That's probably why you know everybody's business. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy.
Federal judge immediately rejected a defense request for a mistrial in the picking trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
Learn to act on stage. Don't rely on social media. Put it down, turn it off, shut up, be quiet, learn, read.
I would say, Oprah Winfrey, what people are beginning to do is see you for who you are.
I was publicly humiliated for 25 years, every week, exploited by the tabloids. Every time any comedian wanted to make fun or make a joke about it, they could make a joke about it. And I accepted it because I thought I deserved it.
It's honestly wild how this whole thing has exploded. Just a little while ago, Diddy was living it up, throwing flashy, star-studded parties in Miami, popping bottles like a king. Now, he's locked up in one of the roughest, most talked-about prisons in the U.S. And if that isn't shocking enough, wait till you hear who's suddenly being mentioned in the same sentence as Diddy. Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
Yes, that Oprah. The icon of daytime TV. The billionaire boss lady who's inspired millions with her messages of growth, strength, and emotional healing. People are seriously losing their minds over this connection because it's Oprah. She's not somebody you'd ever expect to see tangled up in something so dark and controversial, but apparently she is. And guess who's peeling back the layers on all this messy drama? None other than Denzel Washington. Yes, the legendary actor himself is dropping bombs. But hold up, we can't get into what he said just yet. Believe it or not, there are still folks out there who have no clue what's really going down. So before we jump into the jaw-dropping revelations, let's rewind and break it all down from the very beginning. Buckle up, because this story is way bigger and messier than you think. Now, I know you somehow heard about Diddy, right? I mean, it's been all over the news, social media, and just about every gossip page out there. But what you might not realize is just how deep this rabbit hole goes. See, this isn't your typical celebrity drama, where someone gets caught cheating or has a meltdown at an award show. No, Diddy's situation is way darker, way more serious, and honestly, way more disturbing. We're talking about real chilling accusations that sound more like the plot of a twisted crime thriller than something happening in real life. Charges like human teaking, extortion, sedating unsuspecting victims, and even horrifying allegations involving minors. And don't get it twisted, these aren't just whispers on the internet or random theories being thrown around by bored fans. These are real federal charges, and they're being investigated at the highest level. And if you're wondering how all this chaos started, well, it all blew up when his ex-girlfriend Cassie dropped a lawsuit in late 2023. That one case cracked the door open, and what came pouring out after was an avalanche of disturbing claims and shocking discoveries. Next thing you know, law enforcement is raiding his mansions. Not just one city, but multiple properties across the country. And what they found inside? Let's just say it wasn't your usual Hollywood luxury. We're talking gallons of baby oil, shelves stacked with adult toys by the hundreds, and rooms allegedly built for acts so bizarre and twisted, they sound like something straight out of a horror movie set. It's the kind of stuff that makes you side-eye every red carpet photo and wonder what really goes on behind those designer sunglasses and tailored suits. People were already gasping over the footage that was reportedly confiscated, video so disturbing that even investigators were said to be shaken. But just when the story couldn't get any more unbelievable, it did. Out of nowhere, the name Oprah Winfrey started getting thrown into the mix. The woman who basically built her empire on kindness, empowerment, and helping others heal. The billionaire talk show queen who gave away cars and inspired generations. Suddenly, she's being linked to one of the darkest scandals in entertainment.
He threw that in there real quick. Give away cars. You know, she gave everybody in the audience a car on one of her shows. But they had to pay the taxes on the brand new car. Can you imagine you barely got enough money to go to the Oprah show and you had to fly there or whatever? Now you got this car you won. You can't even take it home. And you got to pay $7,000. That's what I heard. $7,000 worth of back taxes on it. Well, not back taxes, but taxes before you can take the car. These people broke. They ain't got no $7,000. I can't buy a brand new car for $7,000. I got to come up with $7,000. Ask yourself that.
History. And guess who dropped her name? None other than Denzel Washington. Now hold on. Denzel isn't some messy drama starter. This is a man who carries himself with grace, wisdom, and intention. He doesn't talk just to talk. So when he points fingers or even hints at something shady going on, the whole world listens. And according to whispers from behind closed doors, he's not just name-dropping, he's allegedly trying to pull back the curtain on some of Hollywood's dirtiest secrets. See, according to folks close to the matter, Denzel's been quietly side-eyeing Oprah for a long time now. Not because of something petty or surface level, but because of how she carries herself behind the scenes, especially when it comes to how she treats people, and more specifically, how she treats black women in the entertainment industry. Now, this isn't just a one-time snub or an awkward red carpet moment. We're talking about years of quiet tension bubbling just beneath the glitzy surface. Because let's be clear, Oprah and Diddy go way back. This isn't some brand new out-of-nowhere connection. They've known each other for decades. They've shared stages and smiles at high-profile events like the BET Awards, the Grammys, Cannes Film Festival, and those ultra-exclusive fashion galas that regular folks only dream about. Diddy's even been on her talk show, kicking back, laughing with her about his come-up from the streets to the boardroom. On the outside, it looked like two icons respecting each other's hustle. Black excellence supporting black excellence. But now that the truth is unraveling, people are revisiting those old clips with a different perspective. Suddenly, that laughter feels a little forced. Those compliments sound a little too polished. And the vibe? Well, it's starting to feel a whole lot more suspicious. Now, if you think all of this is just some wild coincidence, let's talk about Taraji P. Henson. Yes, Cookie from Empire. The woman who gave us powerhouse performances in films like The Hidden Figures and The Color Purple. Taraji's story adds another crack to the carefully polished image Oprah's been holding up for decades. You see, Taraji recently opened up about nearly walking away from The Color Purple, a film Oprah helped produce. And the reason? Because she was being grossly underpaid. And this isn't some isolated issue. It echoes what comedian and Oscar winner Nique has been shouting from the rooftops for years. Black women in Hollywood are consistently undervalued, even when they're the face of the project. And guess who always seems to be in the middle of these conversations? Oprah. But hold up, it gets even messier. Let's rewind to when Nique first spoke out about her trauma and the betrayal she experienced. Not from Hollywood executives or producers, but from Oprah herself. Back in 2008, Nique courageously shared in an Essence interview that she'd been essayed by her own brother. Now, this wasn't just a media moment, it was a deeply personal, painful truth. What most people didn't know at the time was that Nique had also confided in Oprah privately. She opened up about her strained relationship with her parents, how they dismissed her trauma, invalidated her pain. Oprah knew. And still, she went ahead and invited not just Nique's brother, but also her parents on the Oprah Winfrey Show to publicly discuss Nique's mistreatment without telling her. Just let that sink in.
Oprah Winfrey called us up, and she said my brother wanted to come on the show.
Your older brother you described as a monster. And he abused you.
Yes.
From the time you were
7.
How did he abuse you? Are we talking about sexual abuse?
Yeah.
Now let's be real. Oprah's knack for diving into people's trauma on national television didn't stop with Nique. Nope, that was just the tip of the iceberg. For years, Oprah's been building her brand on emotional interviews, but many say it's less about healing and more about headlines. She's been called out multiple times for extracting raw, painful stories from celebrities, sometimes under the warm veil of sisterhood. only to use those very stories to boost ratings. And trust me, people have noticed. One of the loudest voices, 50 Cent. He didn't hold back. After Oprah criticized his music for being too explicit and accused him of promoting hate, 50 clapped back hard. He didn't just defend his lyrics, he called Oprah out for what he saw as years of pandering to a white audience while ignoring or even shaming the community she came from. He went so far as to compare her to an Oreo, black on the outside and white on the inside, because in his eyes, Oprah's commitment to black issues seemed to fade the moment mainstream white America tuned in. And he's not the only one side-eyeing Oprah's motives. Ice Cube also voiced his frustration, especially after being shut out from appearing on The View and Oprah's own platform. Despite his cultural relevance and history in film and politics, he couldn't land a seat at her table, not even to discuss major projects like Barbershop or his provocative show, Black, White. Ice Cube suspected it wasn't about quality, it was about control. His views didn't align with Oprah's carefully curated narrative, and that made him unwelcome. Even Chris Brown, a polarizing figure in his own right, felt Oprah's selective empathy. After donating to Oprah's school in Africa, he was surprised when she seemed to only publicly champion Rihanna during her infamous legal battle, while completely distancing herself from him. Chris wasn't asking her to excuse what he did, he just expected a fair hand, or at least some of the same compassion she shows to others when they fall. And then there's the infamous James Frey debacle. Oprah once anointed his memoir, A Million Little Pieces, as a book club gem, turning it into a bestseller overnight. But when it came out that Frey had embellished parts of his story, Oprah didn't just pull support, she dragged him back onto her show and grilled him like a courtroom prosecutor in front of millions. Some applauded her for holding him accountable, but others saw it as overkill, humiliation for drama's sake. And let's not forget Ludacris. Back in 2005, he went on Oprah's show to promote the Oscar-winning film Crash alongside his castmates. But instead of celebrating the project, Oprah pivoted the conversation to criticize Ludacris' lyrics, especially his use of the N-word. Ludacris tried to explain the nuance and artistic context, but later discovered that Oprah's team edited out all of his rebuttals from the final cut. All the defense, all the explanation, gone.
Y'all hear that? Y'all heard that, right? They done edit everything out to make the story flip and twist the way they want it to twist. Yeah, that happens quite often. That's why I stopped it right there. That happens quite often. G.O. people.
Nuance and artistic context, but later discovered that Oprah's team edited out all of his rebuttals from the final cut.
That's crazy.
All the defense, all the explanation, gone. It painted him as one-sided, as if he sat there silent and guilty, which he called out publicly as unfair.
Is this one about the N-word? This is about the movie. I do remember. Yeah. She cut you off.
Right.
She edited out what you had to say.
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's what it came down to. That was the only time I was on Oprah.
Okay, and then
whether we get invited back or not.
For Ludacris, it wasn't just disappointing, it was humiliating. And it wasn't lost on people that this wasn't an isolated incident. It fit a growing pattern. Oprah using her platform to publicly chastise black men under the banner of moral responsibility, while ratings and applause followed. But when we zoom out, things start to get more complicated and a little more suspicious. Oprah's Rolodex includes names like Diddy, Harvey Weinstein, and Tyler Perry. All three have faced heavy backlash, public scrutiny, and allegations of misconduct. So when people say birds of a feather flock together, it's hard not to side-eye her long-standing friendships and what they might suggest. And it doesn't stop there. Many in the industry accuse Oprah of playing the role of a gatekeeper, someone who controls who gets in, who stays out, and how stories are told. It's said that she carefully curates narratives, favors those who align with her image, and quietly shuts out those who don't. For some, this power-wielding feels less like leadership and more like manipulation, especially when her public persona is one of empathy and empowerment. Then there's Maui. When the wildfires ripped through the island, destroying the homes of everyday people, Oprah's sprawling estates remained untouched. And that's not the first time. Back in 2017, her Montecito mansion also survived a deadly blaze, while nearby homes were reduced to ashes. Twice now, her property has been spared while others have suffered. And in both cases, she quickly expanded her land holdings afterward. Coincidence? Maybe. But a growing number of people aren't so sure. What added fuel to the fire, no pun intended, was Oprah's response. Rather than immediately dipping into her billionaire bank account to help the displaced, she launched a public fundraising campaign. For many, it felt tone-deaf. Here's one of the richest women on earth asking regular folks to donate while owning hundreds of acres of land and multiple mansions. The optics, not great. Now let's circle back to Diddy. With lawsuits and investigations piling up around him, Oprah's relationship with him is raising more and more questions. They've been seen together at events, and rumors swirl about her giving him resources, shielding him from certain fallouts, and helping him maintain power in the industry. Even more startling, Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, claims he saw Diddy in the company of both Oprah Winfrey and Harvey Weinstein during some of these now infamous encounters.
Because you know he was running with Oprah and them. He was running with that whole crew. Weinstein, Oprah, Epstein. He was running with that whole crew.
Yep, if Harvey and Oprah cozying up with Diddy doesn't raise your eyebrows, you're not paying attention. Because you know they knew the skeletons behind those closed doors. These aren't just chance encounters at Hollywood parties. These are tight-knit relationships formed over decades with people who hold serious power and dark secrets. Let's start with Oprah and Harvey Weinstein. Their bond wasn't some casual red carpet photo op. No, they were thick as thieves. Oprah hugged him, kissed him on the cheek, smiled for the cameras, and behind the scenes, worked with him on multiple films. Even as whispers swirled about Weinstein's predatory behavior, she stayed by his side. And when the dam finally broke and survivors came forward, Oprah didn't condemn him directly. Instead, she gave a vague speech about systemic mistreatment. Real slick, Oprah.
With Harvey Weinstein, I know you posted on Facebook already, but you haven't kind of spoken yet publicly about what's going on.
I think that this is, I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining. And this is what I do know for sure. When something this major happens, when you have the fallout, 50 women coming forward, that it's a watershed moment.
Further controversy erupted when Harvey Weinstein himself claimed that Oprah had personally called him to offer support after the floodgates opened and the allegations against him became public. That kind of statement doesn't come lightly, especially from a man trying to cling to any remaining sliver of credibility. But Oprah's team was quick to jump into damage control mode. They denied any direct conversation, saying she was only interested in interviewing him for a potential 60 Minutes piece. Still, the damage was done. Weinstein kept mentioning her supposed support, almost like he was reminding everyone just how tight they really were. But let's not stop there, because there's another moment that shows just how shaky Oprah's loyalty can be. Let's rewind to 1993, when Michael Jackson, one of the most private and scrutinized entertainers of all time, invited Oprah Winfrey into his inner world. He opened the gates of Neverland Ranch for a rare, emotional, and globally televised interview. It was a huge moment, not just for MJ, but for Oprah too. That exclusive sit-down was a career-defining moment for her, helping solidify her global image and boosting her reputation as the interviewer of the stars. For years, Oprah basked in that moment, calling Michael a friend and using that interview as a badge of honor. But fast forward to after Michael's death, and suddenly that friendship looked like it was up for sale. Oprah did a complete 180. She aligned herself with the Leaving Neverland documentary, which featured disturbing allegations by Wade Robson and James Safechuck, two men who had previously testified under oath that Michael Jackson had never harmed them. Oprah didn't just air the film, she went even further, dedicating an entire special to interviewing Wade and James, giving their stories a massive platform, and all but disavowing the man who once trusted her with his truth.
It's confusing, the word abuse, when you say sex, because as you just saw in Leaving Neverland, that as young boys, these two men did not feel until much later on in life.
People were shocked when Oprah gave a full platform to Wade Robson and James Safechuck after the release of Leaving Neverland. The documentary reignited the decades-old firestorm around Michael Jackson and Oprah. She didn't just mention it, she jumped right in. She hosted an entire special where she interviewed the two accusers, even though both had previously testified under oath that MJ never harmed them. Fans, especially those loyal to Michael, felt betrayed. They questioned Oprah's motives. Was she trying to stir up controversy for ratings? Or was she attempting to rewrite history and smear the legacy of a man who once trusted her deeply? Oprah defended her decision, claiming her goal was to highlight mistreatment in the industry. But critics weren't buying it, because if that were true, then why not show that same energy for Harvey Weinstein? But hold up, it doesn't stop with Michael. Let's talk about John of God. the so-called healer from Brazil that Oprah once praised on her show. She didn't just endorse him from afar. Oprah flew to Brazil, met him in person, featured him in her media, and presented him as a miraculous figure of light and healing. But fast forward, it turns out this man was a literal monster, accused of human teaking, SA, and running a baby selling operation where he chained up women, forced them to give birth, and then sold their babies, and allegedly harvested organs. That's not just evil, that's horrific beyond words. And Oprah, she pulled off a disappearing act that would make David Blaine proud. She erased everything connected to John of God. No apologies, no statements, no interviews, just gone. Like it never happened. People were left confused, disturbed, and asking, how does someone with that level of public influence not issue a single word of accountability? Some say it's because Oprah has serious power behind the scenes, power to bury stories before they explode. Even her highly praised South African girls' school faced scandal when one of its dorm matrons was arrested for inappropriate behavior with students. Again, Oprah stayed mostly silent, offering very little transparency or justice to the public. Then came Seal, the Grammy-winning singer, who lit the match by posting a now infamous message on Instagram. He hinted that Oprah knew about Harvey Weinstein's dirty dealings for years but stayed silent. He basically called her a gatekeeper, protecting the elite while pretending to be a beacon for justice. And just 5 days later, Seal got hit with a battery charge. Convenient, huh? Though the charge was dropped, fans couldn't ignore the timing. Some say it wasn't coincidence. Comedian Cat Williams even went on record saying Oprah orchestrated the attack on Seal to silence him. She was willing to take down a black man just to protect her image and her ties to power. For a while, all these gatekeeper whispers started to fade. But then Denzel Washington, the legendary actor with a spotless record and deep respect in the black community, dropped hints. He didn't say much outright, but according to those in the know, Denzel gave us signals. He allegedly suggested that if Diddy was bad behind closed doors, then Oprah might even be worse. He pointed out how she helped certain people rise while silencing others, and still claims to advocate for women and justice. So now I turn to you. What do you think? Do you think Denzel is onto something? And is Oprah truly the icon we think she is? Or just another gatekeeper in a system built to protect the powerful? Drop your thoughts below. And if you're loving this kind of deep dive, make sure to check out our other videos. You don't want to miss what we have coming next.
I'm telling you, man, I got a bad feeling about Oprah. Always had a bad feeling about her, man. I don't know what it is. Her and Steve Harvey has a... Man, I ain't trying to hear this. I don't even want to get close enough to. Ellen DeGeneres, I was kind of liking her until I heard that a lot of the people that was working for her saying that she is mean. How can somebody, when the camera's on, act so nice and they all that, hey, I gotta do this, but behind closed doors, they the evilest, most ugliest thing in the world. Yeah, it's a lot of people like that, man. A lot. Anyway, man, I'm gonna get on up out of here. Hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. Y'all tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.